Hey y'all, it's Anime Man. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 20th episode of the Golden Kamuy. And I just gotta say, our boy Tanigaki got some this episode. So that was a good episode to see. And when I meant that, I meant figuratively and literally. Because it was nice to see him develop his relationship with the incarnate, the fortune teller lady. So that was a nice way to actually have the episode advance character dynamics a bit, because it was nice to see the incarnate actually start to develop some of her personality traits to some of the other characters, like expressing her love for Tanigaki. And then simultaneously, it was nice how this episode finally gave her character some justice by giving her some characterization in regards to she used to have a fondness for Asirpa's father, and that Morpurando was actually someone else, completely, not Asirpa's father, and that Wilk was actually murdered by Kiro Rananke. So all these elements are pretty fucking interesting, because at the very least we got to actually see that the fortune teller lady, seemed like she was emotionally hurt in the way things went down between her and Asirpa's father, Wilk, from the looks of things. And then simultaneously, it was nice to see her, the fortune teller lady herself, acknowledge that, yeah, she's definitely falling in love. And then the scene where she's having sex with Tanigaki, and then she herself tells him that it's got to be the sea order. I was just laughing because I gotta say, that was a sweet way of her pretty much trying to excuse the reason why she had sex with Tanigaki, even though we all know from the context in the episode, she did it because she actually likes Tanigaki that way, at least seemingly going from the sequences in the episode. So I like all of these kind of elements. It really makes it makes that character much more endearing. And I like that about Golden Kamuy, because at this point now, pretty much we pretty much know everything about the main crew at this point, except for Kiro Ranke. That's the only individual in the current Sugimoto's group that we don't know about. But now we know about Tanigaki, Sugimoto, Asirpa, fortune teller lady, Tanigaki, and even the kid with the name that rhymes with boner. Like we know what they're all about, except for Kiro Ranke, but at the very least, the anime seemingly setting itself up towards some revelations towards that character. So that's nice. It makes, at least to me as a viewer, it's going to make me care much more about this group now. And then aside from that, I like how this episode had the fortune teller lady tell majority of this information all to Asirpa. And it was nice to see all these serious scenes interspliced with comedic scenes, like when you have the sea odors like scent pretty much affect Sugimoto, Shirashi, Kiranke all mentally, because they all look like they're fucking drunk. And there was sumo wrestling randomly out of fucking nowhere, and I was like, oh, this is so hilarious. And I like these silly moments because it really makes the friendship between Sugimoto, Shirashi, and everyone else in the group feel much more authentic, and it makes it feel much more real, in my opinion. So I like these comedic scenes because aside from getting us laughs, it gives more characterization and some character development, because these individuals are becoming more comfortable with each other. So that's nice too about the episode. It isn't all just drama. It even has like a fun factor to it too. Then aside from that, I like the sequences where Tanigaki's protecting the E-Karma from everyone else, at least from Kiranke, when he's like, can you, because Asirpa spills the beans about the whole situation, about Kiranke being a possible traitor, and then Kiranke says that so the fortune teller lady could be working with like Tsurumi. So I like these kind of elements. It should make some of the interactions between certain characters tension filled, and And I like that because it's going to keep me on the edge of my seat whenever there's a scene where Kiroranke is by himself with the incarnate, or if the Kiroranke is in a situation where he's by himself with Tanigaki. So I like that. It's going to help build tension more for future episodes. And then I like how this episode kind of had a surprise at the end where one of Tsurumi's men was trying to get information about Nopperando, and then you had this one scout from the 7th Division, and he was discovered by the prison warden's subordinates. And then I like how it was seemingly making it seem like this 7th Division dude was gonna be fucking owned like a little bitch, because he kind of seemed like he had the personality of someone wimpy. But then, when this 7th Division individual was being attacked by these two prisoners without a weapon, and then when he was able to just escape that situation like a fucking badass, take the hammer, slam it against someone, and then beat up the other dude in hand-to-hand combat without a single weapon, I was like, yo! It feels like every single one of Tsurumi's men is a fucking complete badass, and I love that shit. It goes to show you how deadly Tsurumi is without him even having to do nothing. It's like a reminder where even though Tsurumi has his fun, quirky moments, even when he's not on the screen directly, you can still feel his fucking presence. Especially just hearing the 7th Division. Like, whenever someone is a 7th Division member, it just reminds you of how deadly Tsurumi is. And I like that shit. It makes me like his character much more, and it keeps on reminding you that there's tension in this enemy you gotta pay attention to. And pretty much just looking on all these developments, and with Sugimoto and Asirpa even more determined to get to the prison to find out more about Nopperando, and then with Asirpa now having doubts as to who her father is, whether it could be Nopperando, because then you have fortune teller saying that Nopperando is not your father's actually dead. It's gonna give this episode a much larger layer of mystery that's gonna make it much more interesting. And taking all these factors into consideration, the way the episode ended off pretty cool, and the character development, and the good amount of story progression, I gotta say, I'm gonna rate this episode an 8 out of 10, because even the animation was pretty good in a few scenes, and I gotta give credit to that. Especially the art. The art was pretty good, especially in like the beginning scene where it showed like these flowers. It just looked really good. So anyways, guys and gals, these are my thoughts on the episode. Comment down your thoughts on the episode below in the comment section. Rate the video, subscribe if you want to see more Golden Common reviews. And I'll see you guys later if you subscribe for more. Bye-bye.